In 2008, three complete strangers were put together with the hopes of creating the greatest Sony podcast ever heard. Today, unable to stop podcasting, the show survives as connoisseurs of dick and fart jokes. If you need Sony news, are not deaf, and don't want to die of boredom, maybe you can listen to BigRedBarel Blu.
Welcome back to the 26th episode of the BigRedBarel PlayStation Podcast, episode 196 of the Blue Show, just because we like to keep it confusing. Rothbart and Frawls are both still out of town. They've gone to PAX and have since got into all sorts of shenanigans, which I'm sure involve, pigeons and midgets and dragons and something.
And trannies. Don't forget trannies.
They could be tranny pigeons. I don't know if that, pigeons can do what they want to do. It's all good with me. But to compensate for the lack of our two regular hosts, I brought in three ringers. And the first one, I'm PacManPolarBear, by the way, if you don't already know. But our first guest is Dave from BigRedBarel's Flicks podcast. He's also the guy who edits all of our shows for, I think, going on 5 years now, which is just mind-boggling. What's going on, Dave?
Not much, just enjoying my Vita time, and also the fact that the Packers are putting a beat down on the Bears right now.
Woo! Bears suck.
What up? Oh wait, sorry. I don't know if I was supposed to say that. Bleep that.
Bleep that. Also joining us, we've got Corey, who is one of the reviewers from BigRedBarel, Darkwonders, from the old site, I think Darkwonders is your handle for most of your gaming.
Yes, I haven't been very creative, so I stuck with that.
Hey, I've stuck with the same name too for a really long time.
Hey, mine is my real name.
Well, not on Xbox Live. Yours is Cussing Zombie.
Yeah, but Cussing Zombie it's just, I don't know, that doesn't really work well as a name.
Dave stands out. How many Daves can there possibly be in the world?
I don't know. There's always, every time there's a new podcast made, everybody's like, oh, that guy's totally like the Dave of that show. I'm like, no, there's only one Dave, and he is I, and I am him.
You're like the Highlander?
Slim with a tilted grin, what's my motherfucking name?
I was just thinking that.
There can only, I just want to see Dave fight another Dave and one of them lose their head and him fly up in the air and get hit by lightning and things explode.
Dave, it's funny because I actually remember the first time that I ever heard you talk about me. I'm Yoshifett, by the way. I can't even wait to be introduced. I'm going to introduce myself. Was on the old Red show. When you said that people were saying that I was the new Dave, and you were like, no, there's only one Dave. And it was very no, screw this new guy. He is not Dave. I am Dave. It was great.
I am.
Yeah, no, and you are. And you can pull off just having your name, which I love, because, most of us have these silly names.
It's just one word, like Madonna. I just roll that way.
You roll hard, yeah.
Keep it 100. But, so we'll just do a little bit of chit-chat, what everyone's been playing. I am still playing Transformers Fall of Cybertron, and the Dinobots DLC came out, which sounds a lot cooler than it actually is, because it's just Dinobot skins with all the same moves and guns that the classes normally have. So I spent the last couple days gunning down a whole bunch of people who don't know how to play as Dinobots, so it's been quite fun. What have you guys been playing? What have you been playing, Dave?
I've been playing Madden on my Vita. It looks pretty good. There's some things where you can tell they had to, drop some textures down. The crowd looks like crap. Whenever they zoom in on the sidelines and you see the guys on the side, the people in the crowd, they really look terrible. But gameplay-wise, it's actually really good. But the loading times are something to be desired. If it's one of those things where you're just I'm going to go drop a deuce and maybe get myself a little game of Madden in, load up the game of Madden before you go into the bathroom, because you're going to be sitting there for a while waiting on the loading.
Well, game of Madden takes some time.
That's a problem with most video games I see. I load up a game, it's all right, how long do I need before I can actually play so I can go drop a deuce? There's really no games that you can just load up and play within 5 seconds. It's just
Plants vs. Zombies, pinball.
Deuce-friendly games.
Oh, snap. Look at all this knowledge Dave is dropping. That was a big knowledge bomb right there, Dave. Way to just diffuse that completely. You diffused it with a bomb. That's ironic or something. I'm not sure.
No, yeah, the pinball is relatively quick.
Zen Pinball is awesome. Zen Pinball 2 is finally there. Go pick it up, and the Plants vs. Zombie map is awesome.
I have high score of 167 million. I beat Smelly Pirate, so now it's his turn to try to beat my score. So
yeah, you're a big fan of the pinball games, eh, Darkwonders?
Oh yeah, that is probably the best Vita game right now, because Zen Pinball on the PS3 and 360 are fine, but like it's just so much nicer to pick it up, play for 5 minutes or a half hour or 3 hours on the handheld than just wander around aimlessly. It's so much better than just sitting in one spot and playing.
You gotta get the Marvel pinball ones too, because they're all insanely good, and they're actually better Marvel games than most of the games that are supposed to be big budget Marvel games.
Well, the best thing about Zen Pinball 2 is it's crossplay. Like, you buy it on your Vita, you get it on your PS3, so you can play back and forth.
That's
or
awesome.
You can have two people play at the same time. So if you and Smelly are ever in the same area at the same time, you'd be like, yo, dog, pinball, right now, my house, it's going down! And then, you can be on the Vita and he can be on your PS3 and y'all can just be going back and forth, dueling pinball matches. I'm telling you, that's the next big thing.
Dueling pinball matches.
Swag. Yoshifett, so what have you been playing?
I'm with Dave here, except for I've been playing Madden on my PS3. It was funny because Darkwonders mentioned that he didn't even know I had any Sony products, but yeah, I do have a PS3, and I mainly use it for sports games, honestly. But Madden is very good this year. It's very frustrating for anyone who's played it, though, because interceptions are very easy to throw, even easier than last year, which was kind of bad. But mostly everything's great, except for the one thing is, and I don't know how many people out there actually play Madden. I feel like it's not a game that like gamers play. It's like a game that frat boys play or something, but I play it too.
Yeah.
But wow, the commentary is awful this year. I mean, I got used to Chris Collinsworth, who did a decent job, whatever. He's no Madden. There's only one Madden. Or Gus Johnson, who was good. But they brought in Phil Simms, who says some of the most ridiculously stupid stuff. Like, he'll talk about how sloppy the offenses look, and then the next thing he says will be how it should be a high-scoring game. And I'm like, what? No, those two things don't make sense. He's
in the Vita version, it keeps trying to tell me I'm in the hurry-up offense, even though there's 3 minutes left in the 5-minute quarter. It'll be like, we're in the hurry-up offense now. I'm like, what are you talking about? I have like 10 seconds left on the play clock, and the clock is running. I don't understand.
Yeah, honestly, if there was I don't know, maybe there's an option to turn off the commentary, because I just don't want to hear it anymore. It's like, if I have to hear Phil Simms stumble over a sentence again, I'm gonna throw my controller even more than I already have from Madden. So yeah, I've been.
You guys are going to give our listeners sports game overload. I think that's the longest period of time we've ever spent on a Blue Show talking about any sports title ever. Well, because none of the hosts play sports games. None of us do. So.
Let me throw one more thing out there. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm going to go first. I'm cutting you off.
No, that's fine. Cut me.
See, while you were talking, I was thinking of my response, and I got it. I think we just need to have an option where the play-by-play can be done by Frank Caliendo as John Madden, and just have him throw out ridiculous bits of
I would prefer that to Phil Simms. Phil Simms is awful. Like, he clearly had lots of concussions when he was playing quarterback, and it's really showing.
If he could just go like, Cedric Benson just got tackled. He's going to have a grass stain on his shirt. But if he said that as Madden, it would be hilarious.
Right. I just wanted to throw it off the sports topic, though, sent here, because I have been playing Assassin's Creed 2 a lot, as well as I'm strangely playing Creed along with Revelations and Brotherhood all at the same time, so I'm getting very confused, but whatever.
Don't they all have like their own plotline, though?
Yeah, but they have like different points of view, and they kind of like cross in weird ways, and like I don't really understand fully yet, so I think it will become more clear to me. I'm the furthest along in Assassin's Creed 2, which I think is a fantastic game, by the way. I enjoy all of them. It's just that I don't even know why I'm doing this. I just want to finish them so that I can play 3 and be excited about a new game, because I'm usually, like 7 years behind everybody else with games. So
well, you've got to play 3 and then Brotherhood and then Revelations, and then you can play the new.
Right. That's my goal. I'm pretty far along in 2.
Well, no, the new Assassin's Creed 3 isn't out yet, right?
I don't know. I'm confused.
Revelations is the last one.
October 30th, I believe, right? Or something like that, or 20th. I can't remember. It's coming out.
There are way too many of those games for there to only be 3.
Yeah,
or for there to only be one mode of gameplay, really, which is, I don't know why I complain about other games being repetitive, because wow, Assassin's Creed's repetitive, but I just like
Well,
climbing
wait till
on
you get
things
into
like
the
that.
last one. I think it's Revelations where they have the tower defense mode with the whistling.
I
it's
haven't gotten that far
awful.
yet, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to reserve judgment.
Okay, we gotta dive into this agenda.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so the first couple topics are just a little housekeeping, letting people know what's coming out. So Killzone, just the first game, the original one, is obviously getting its HD remake with trophies, and it's dropping. You can buy just Killzone 1 if you already own 2 and 3, like most of us do, on October 23rd, and it's going to be $15 just for the single. And the trilogy will be out as a bundle on the 23rd as well. I'm not sure on the price on that. And it'll be out on the 24th in the EU. And yeah, Killzone 1 is... it's not a crappy game, and it's going to be a game that a lot of us buy just to have the collection because we're Killzone fans, but the quality mark is quite a bit lower than Killzone 2. But it should look nice, and it's still got that Killzone feel, and it's got some of those great Killzone bad guy speeches and everything else. So $14.99 is not bad. I hope that we get a PlayStation Plus discount, and I hope they when that drops down to $10, it might be a little more appealing. But are any of you guys even interested at all in the original Killzone?
I'd like to ask a clarifying question about it. Because
Sure.
I'm confused that it's Killzone HD with trophies. Killzone was a PS3 title, yeah?
No, Killzone was a PS2
Oh,
game.
really? Okay, so
Yeah.
that series started on the PS2, because I was really confused about how they were doing an HD remake of a game that was a PS3 game, but clearly it
Even
wasn't.
more
It was a PS2.
HD.
More super HD, yeah, exactly. It's gonna be 3D and so many Ds you don't know what to do. Okay, that clears things up. My view on Killzone is that I haven't played it, so I don't really know. I do know that it was supposed to be this big deal, and then it didn't seem to be that big of a deal. I know a lot of PS3 fans are devotees to the second and third game, though, so maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
It sounds like it might be something cool to check out at some point.
I'm kind of just. I knew that the price was going to be high. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be $14.99, but with a PlayStation Plus discount, that'll probably turn into $11.99, which is a little more palatable, I guess. But we also got another HD remake, which I know people are big fans of, but I never liked it the first time, so I'm not interested in it. But Jet Set Radio is getting an HD remake, and it's coming out on September 18th, so that's next week. And September 19th in the EU, and PlayStation Plus members do get a discount, and it'll be out on the Vita on October 16th. And Jet Set Radio is, what do you want to call it? Like a rollerblading graffiti game, I guess?
Oh, you had me at rollerblading. Where do I sign up?
Anyway, but it was actually quite popular on the old system.
Rollerblading
So.
graffiti game? Is that the weirdest thing I've ever heard? I think it is. There's a rollerblading graffiti game in the world? Is it Ratchet?
Oh yeah, it's. I don't know. I don't know if it's Ratchet, but it's definitely off the chain.
Okay, good. At least if it's off the chain, then I'll be interested. To me, when I think of rollerblading, I think of a nerdy couple, riding their rollerblades on the beach. And then when I think of graffiti, I think of some thug kid doing graffiti. The two just do not go together in my brain. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just very narrow-minded, and I should open my mind to the fact that there are rollerblade gangs out there that are very dangerous and might graffiti.
Yoshi, stop being so white.
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
Whitest guy ever.
Yep.
I'm more scared of skateboarders because skateboarding has become popular again thanks to Lil Wayne, and the whole world has just gotten it's kids in skinny jeans and skateboards. Man, I'm terrified. I don't even want to.
You know what I saw the other day that shocked me and blew my mind and confused me was somebody wearing one of my students wearing skinny jeans that he was sagging. I was like, wait, that doesn't make any. Pick one of the two. Come on, if you're going to wear the baggy, sagging jeans, first of all, look up how that started in prisons and then decide if you still want to do that. And then second of all, don't wear skinny jeans when you do it. That makes no sense. Sorry, off topic.
It looks silly. And just, all we hear about is HD remakes and, numbered sequels. And so Insomniac has finally decided to have a final name for their game, which was originally called Overstrike, and it's now called Fuse. And Insomniac's the guys who made the Resistance games, Ratchet and Clank. So this one's going to be third-person shooter, 4-player co-op campaign, and I'm sure 4-player co-op extras, March 2013. And it actually does look pretty damn good. And even if Resistance was never the the Halo killer or whatever we wanted to call it, the Resistance games were really solid, and Insomniac is a popular developer. So I'm really happy to see a new IP. Have you guys managed to see any of the screenshots?
Do you remember Resistance 2 co-op, the 8-player crazy side? Well, it was still fun though. It was at least it wasn't the first game where you just tack on a second player. They actually tried something different, even though it was really weird.
Oh yeah, they did definitely try something different. It was like Armageddon co-op mode. It was so, I don't know. It was just a muddled setup, but it was nice that they tried it. But co-op is so important now with first-person shooters that you almost have to have a survival mode or some sort of co-op play. So having 4-player co-op, for the campaign and for, I'm assuming, some of their multiplayer modes is going to be pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it sounded a lot like Borderlands with the whole each person. There's 4 specific people, and each person has their own set of skills that you can upgrade. So it'll be interesting how they go with it, but it seems a lot like Borderlands third person without the million different guns.
Frawls isn't here, so I'm gonna do it for him. It looks just like Gears.
Totally looks like Gears. Totally looks like Gears.
Totally look like Gears.
Well, if you look at the cover, which is really the only thing I have to go on, the cover's pretty silly, but I don't know. It's interesting that it was called Overstrike. I wonder, did they think there are not enough games out there with the word strike in it, so we should make that. But
yeah, Overstrike sounds like the name of a Japanese title that was imported and changed into English, because those titles often make no sense whatsoever.
No,
it's like
totally.
Infinite Undiscovery. Just as an English teacher, you must see titles like Infinite Undiscovery and your head must just explode. You're like, what?
I kind of like that stuff because it's so nonsensical, and video games are, to me, part of the fun of it is how ridiculous they are and how silly they are. So, yeah, I guess part of me goes, Infinite Undiscovery. What the F does that mean? That's just a totally just meaningless concept. But it's fun. I mean, I get to laugh at it. It's I know Truth and Justice, who, I don't know, does he do anything for BRB? He was mad at me because he worked on Medal of Honor War Fighter, and I thought that was one of the most hilarious names for a game ever because it was just it's so redundant. Okay.
Oh, was it Warfighter or was it Warface?
It's
Warfighter.
Warfighter.
Two different games.
It's Warfighter.
Warfighter.
I don't know where you're getting Warface from. All I know is, that's the Warface!
I would buy Warface. That sounds cool, but I gave him a hard time about that, but I was trying to explain to him that, I actually like that stuff. When I saw a collection of Call of Duty games called the War Collection or something like that, I had to take a picture of it, because I was like, wait, what? And then I think Modern Warfare 3 released it was Battlefield 3 released a combat pack, and that was what it was called, and I was like, what? Really?
The Department of Redundancy Department.
Yeah, totally. It's hilarious when these things happen, and a game like Warfighter, I just think of oh man.
But isn't that I'm pretty sure that actually is a term.
Yeah, I know he
military
defended it, saying that that's what the guys actually say, and actually that's what Cliffy B said when people were saying that the Gears of War dialogue was too over the top. Was he's like, well, we taped real Marines, and this is what they sound like, so suck it, know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cliffy B, people just want to disagree with him just because he's so annoying.
He's a douche.
Anyway,
I want to meet the guy who was the inspiration for Coltrane, though. That's who I want to meet.
We have a couple more games that are getting dropped. So Double Dragon Neon, which I think looks silly, but apparently people are enjoying.
Well, it's free for PS Plus, so you don't lose anything on it.
Yeah, so for Double Dragon Neon and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and Borderlands have all been added to the PlayStation Plus collection. So yeah, you're playing for PlayStation Plus, but I mean the cost of a membership for a year is instantly covered by the 12 free games that you get for signing up for PlayStation Plus. And since they add new games, if you sign up now and you get the 12 games available now, and 6 months from now they've added maybe 12 or 15 more games to that same collection. I mean, that's a lot of free games for the price of a yearly subscription or even a monthly subscription, depending how you want to do it. So I mean, those are all three of those games are worth playing.
Pac-Man, you should really run an infomercial for the PlayStation. You would be great at it.
Well, I mean, there are parts of PlayStation that, we have to talk up how good PlayStation Plus is, because there's so many other things that come up with PlayStation that are hard to
that's true. That is a good feature.
Another good feature that came out is the online cloud save for PlayStation Plus subscribers is no longer the pathetically useless 150 megabytes. It's now a gig.
Suck it, Microsoft. You're only at 512 megabytes.
And since when the show comes out, the patch has long since already arrived. It was 4.25 system software update, but the cloud saves have proved very handy. If you play a lot of games and you're switching on to different systems or going around. So I'm really like that. I maxed out my 150 megabytes in the first day, so having it go up to a gig is nice. I would like to see it go up to maybe something like 5 gigs to really be as useful as the way I'd want to have sort of used that feature. But don't have to pay for it. It's not limited to. Well, actually, it is limited. I guess you have to be PlayStation Plus, but. So it's one of those things that's kind of free.
Don't you think it's inevitable that it's going to get bigger, though? Like, if it's at 1 gigabyte now, it's like one of those sorts of things where people like you and other people who have PlayStation Plus will want more storage, so they'll make it available. It seems like it's kind of an inevitability,
Say he gets around. Say it.
Yeah, I mean, they just need to see...
I said say he gets around.
I'm not saying he gets around. I'm just saying, like, if you want more gigabytes... they'll probably eventually give them to you.
They should. If Google will give you 6.5 gigabytes, or no, 10.
Yeah, they're at 10
gigabytes
for their email right now.
Yeah, so I think Sony can give you 10. If Google can give you 10.
It's just them, slowly, working the system out. And I'm sure there's something behind the scenes with Sony that's always delaying everything that sounds cool that they want to do.
Anonymous? Is it called Anonymous?
Oh, the Anonymous. The worst thing about Anonymous isn't even Anonymous now. It's how retarded the general media is. Like the lamestream media or whatever you want to call them, like NBC, Fox, whatever. Anytime you hear them talk about Anonymous or the internet or video games, it's just not only are they getting the information wrong, but they're repeating this wrong information and convincing a whole bunch of other people about it. It's just Anonymous sucks, but. The news coverage of Anonymous is even worse.
I agree, and that's like the problem with the media and gaming is that there's such a disconnect between what's actually going on and what people perceive about video games, people who aren't into video games. It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, amongst my coworkers who are English teachers, they don't get it. They don't understand like why someone my age, 34, would play video games still. And then they're like, "Oh, did you see that report on this game?" And they're trying to talk to me about like the sex scene in Mass Effect 1 and how I heard it's really great. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yep, full frontal nudity.
It's so tame, It's like, oh yeah, I'm like, yeah. Shepard whips it out and smacks her in the face with it. It's great. No,
press X to penetrate.
No, that was Assassin's Creed too. But yeah,
no, that was God of War.
The disconnect totally. Yeah, well, God of War was a whole nother story.
Yeah, I mean, it always gets out of hand. Okay, we got one little bit of news here that's just strictly for my Canadian brethren, which sounds really good until I get to the end of it. So the PlayStation Vita with 3G and Wi-Fi is coming to Canada October 2nd, which is great, but it's through Rogers. So you have to get your plan through Rogers.
What's Rogers?
If anyone can't...
Discount double check!
It's one Rogers. Of the ISPs, one of the telecommunication companies up here. There's basically only the 3 big ones in the country, and Rogers...
Is it akin to our AT&T?
I know we have AT&T here too, and AT&T is garbage. But you would not only you would happily choose AT&T over Rogers. I mean,
wow.
Well, I guess it depends where you live, but I mean Rogers and Bell AT&T in Canada are terrible. So it's great that we're getting...
Well, you don't have... Do you have to get a contract when you buy the...
No, you don't. I have a 3G Vita.
Well, I know in States we don't, but maybe you have to buy it.
Well, they can't force you to do it just because you bought the Vita.
They can force you. It's Canada. They're communists. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, because there's only a couple big telecommunication companies, and our regulatory agency has no power. I mean, they can basically do what they want. It's a monopoly.
Well, I have a 3G Vita, and I have to say, even if you don't activate it, it still lets you know how awesome AT&T signal is wherever you are. And I'll be sitting in my house and have 2 bars from AT&T. I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad I didn't pay for this.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
And here's this topic that Rothbard has more faith in this game than I do. But J.K. Rowling's Wonder Book, Book of Spells, is coming to PS3 November 13th. So this is the PlayStation Move interactive book for your kids. And I wrote it in the agenda, and I've said it before, is like, I think this is the kind of game that parents hope that their kids will really love a lot more than I think their kids really will love this game. What do you guys think about it? Do you think there's actually a market there for them to pull in the youngsters and the family audience with that game and actually make it?
Not with Move. There's just not enough. I mean, there simply aren't enough people who have Move and use it frequently for it to make a lot.
And you don't think this is going to make them buy Move just for this?
Oh gosh, I can't imagine it. Honestly, the whole Harry Potter thing. Since I do teach kids of this age, like my incoming freshmen who are now 14. They're kind of over Harry Potter. That whole thing kind of came and went, and so I don't think a lot of kids are like, oh, I love Harry Potter now. That's not really the thing. So I think this is kind of coming too little too late.
They should have done Stephanie Meyer's Wonder Book.
If you really want to tap into what the kids are reading these days, you have to do Hunger Games, right? So
the Hunger Games Wonder Book.
I kind of feel like, Harry Potter is still a great property, and I think it's a great series of movies and books, but it's not really the thing that's resonating with kids that age now.
Wonder Book isn't Harry Potter. It's just it's just written by J.K. Rowling.
It doesn't have anything to do with the Hogwarts University or anything?
No. I don't think so.
It's just like a separate spell. Like, it would be weird if she just did like a book of spells that had nothing to do with the...
Or maybe I was reading the
I don't know.
capture.
It seems like it would be logical for it to have something to do with the Harry Potter universe.
Especially with the magic.
If it doesn't have anything to do with the Harry Potter universe, it's even more stupid because the few people who are still into Harry Potter are not going to care about Wonder Book of Spells.
Well, I see this as just another Move fail. I mean, where's all the Move support? You saw this is the only Move thing they had to show at E3 last year. Everything else is it's a sticker on the box. It's not like, hey, you need to get the Move. So in order just to get this, you're going to have to get one Move controller. You're going to have to get the stupid book, and you're going to have to get the PlayStation Eye. I mean, that's not a cheap thing just to go pick up to do this one thing. There
are no standout blockbusters for Move or Kinect. I mean, they're both. It's exactly what any realist knew it would be. They're just gimmicky add-ons to stuff that suckers paid money for when they came out, and they haven't earned their weight since. And it's kind of like mine are like my Move controllers, the white balls at the end. They've slowly gone beige because they've just been sitting there getting dust on them. I actually had to clean them off just to use them when I pulled them out not that long ago, and it's just...
There are some exceptions to that, though. At least I don't really know the Moves, what it has going on for it, but as far as with the with Kinect, the dance games have been a huge success, and I got the Kinect for free. My in-laws gave it to me, and my wife has used it a ton to play all the dance games, and then my daughter loves the Disney game on there. So, and that actually is sold pretty well. So, I kind of feel like, obviously I'm not the PlayStation guy here, so I'm kind of talking up Microsoft a little bit, but it seems like Kinect has been slightly more successful than Move. I don't think either of them have been unqualified successes, but
Kinect as hardware sold really well because Microsoft spent $500 million marketing it. But when you look at the sales numbers, the number one selling game for both systems are the games that get boxed with PlayStation Move or with Kinect.
The dance games are up high too, like Just Dance and Dance Central.
But even then,
those games are selling well on the Kinect. That's the thing. It's not like it's been a wash for them. I don't know about Microsoft and if they've made money off Kinect.
I don't know if they've recouped their $500 million off of a couple games though. Anyway, we got to move on because we're going to get
wait. I have to say topics. One thing.
What?
One thing that the Kinect is good at is Xbox. Next episode, it is amazing at that. Amazing.
Yeah. Bayonetta, which was one of my favorite games, it totally took the place of Devil May Cry in my heart because the last Devil May Cry was mediocre. It was basically just Devil May Cry 3 Plus.
That was 4 you're talking about, right?
Yeah, Devil May Cry 4. I mean, it wasn't a crappy game, but it was nowhere near what it should have been compared to its competitors. So Bayonetta was amazing. Bayonetta 2, there was rumors that it was going to get canceled, and now it turns out that Bayonetta 2 is going to be a Wii U exclusive. Exclusive to the Wii U. So they're gonna forget about all the fans who actually bought the game and made it worth making a second one for, who could have had it on all the other systems, who still own those systems, who would willingly buy a second one, and we're going to put it on the Wii U, which has no established market yet. And a lot of us aren't probably going to get, because in my opinion, the Wii U is this in-between system again. It'll only be at the top of the curve for maybe 2 years, and then PS3 and 360, the new PlayStation, the new Xbox, will very quickly again be ahead in terms of technology. So I just don't see a lot of the people I know getting a Wii U, certainly not just to get Bayonetta 2, so I'm really disappointed.
Nintendo had to have dropped a lot of money to get this. I mean, it was a cross-console title that went exclusive.
Yeah, but why? Why that? It's not like it was...
Because they really want to... Because if you had noticed by their E3 presentation, outside of Nintendo Land and the few Mario games that they showed, they want to prove that they're going hardcore. And Bayonetta 2 is pretty hardcore. It has the boobies.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about Bayonetta is it sold modestly. I looked it up before the show, and it sold something like 1.3 million copies, which is given how much was put into the game, that's not a huge unqualified success or anything.
But a million's a good benchmark for a game.
I guess so. I mean, but if it's over 2 consoles, that's not that much of a game sales to be Sega to go, oh gosh, we need to make this sequel on one of these boxes.
Yeah, I mean, it was about the money Nintendo gave them, which probably allowed them to pull the game out of the possibly not getting released.
I agree. I just don't know anybody who's itching for. You're the first person I've talked to, Pac-Man, who's been itching for the Bayonetta 2 sequel.
Oh man, I'm all about the games that can be really fast and have the depth and be balanced really well. I mean, Bayonetta, from Platinum Games reminds me a lot of Vanquish, which there's story-wise, whatever, but when it came to the hardcore gameplay, the speed and how well everything was balanced and just how smooth the gameplay was for both those games. I mean, it's almost a shame. I wish I could take the guys making the mechanics and the design for those games and mesh them with a great storyteller from another game or something. But I would buy Bayonetta 2 in a second if I could actually had it on a system that I would even possibly own. I might get the Wii U for Christmas or something by accident. If someone doesn't pay attention to my wish list. But other than that,
I think even then I'd return it.
Even then, I might leave it in the box, just trade it in for something good.
But what about Nintendo Land?
What about Nintendo Land? I mean, I'm not hating on everything about the Wii. I do have a couple games that I play with my godson, but is obviously not our favorite system. Oh, next up on the list, though, this is something that we were talking about before the show. This is just a huge cluster on Bethesda's part, and that is Skyrim's Dawnguard DLC for the PlayStation 3. Still no ETA on when they're going to get it done. Bethesda and Sony are both saying they're trying their very best to get it to work for PS3 players. Obviously the DLC has already dropped for Xbox 360 and PC. That both those systems are going along just fine, and their player bases are laughing their asses off. And people on PS3 are like, "Are you serious, Bethesda? You got Oblivion screwed up, Fallout screwed up." Skyrim, when it released, was really screwed up, and now even your biggest core DLC package to date for Skyrim doesn't even work, and you don't even have even their press statements don't sound hopeful. Their press statements just saying, we f***ed up real good, and we have no idea how to un*** this situation, and the fact that it comes down to errors with saves have been prevalent across all their games that they've released from the PS3. They've all had major technical issues, and maybe not game-breaking ones, but certainly you would be better off getting a Bethesda game on the 360, or better yet on the PC for almost all their titles. And it's kind of shocking that it's still going on this bad, and that Bethesda is not some small company that can't do testing and isn't prepared to work on the PS3 or hasn't had problems on the PS3 before, and multi-platform games often do, But Bethesda's really, I mean, I can't think of a bigger profile company who's had more trouble with their games on the PS3 than Bethesda right now.
Well, look,
it's just
look at their engines in general. Their games are never finished. Like there are a lot of imperfections and a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches, and they don't seem to want to fix that. Like one of my friends who works in the biz, like he hated Fallout New Vegas when it came out, and it was based on the same engine that Fallout was, and it was broken.
Yeah,
and I mean they have no problem really. They're like, well, we got all these awards. It's like, yeah, but your game was broken.
Hey, if it sells and it gets award, people don't care.
PC modders fix the games for them, so they don't really care for on the PC because they know that their community will always fix it. But I'm just wondering why PS3 people still want to buy a Bethesda game after 3 games from them have been pretty broken.
I mean, I got Skyrim for the PS3, and of course, like everyone else who got it at launch, I had to wait a long time before it was actually playable the whole way through because of certain bugs. And in the end, I mean, Fallout and Skyrim have both ended up moving to my PC because there's a mod community there. There's just so much more to offer, and the PS3 just continues to struggle. And it's just Bethesda's problems with their PS3 releases. You know, at one point with Fallout, yeah, that kind of sucked. With Oblivion even, it sucked. And then with Fallout, people were pissed. But now, I mean, this is to the point now where they should have known better. I mean, it's pretty inconceivable that they're having this much trouble just getting someone DLC.
They just suck at patching their games. When modders can do it a lot quicker and better than they do, it really shows like how terrible Bethesda
hold on
is
though. Let's compare this, or at least balance it out a little bit with the fact that Bethesda makes these gigantic, ambitious games that no one else even comes close to making. And so the fact that they have errors in them, yeah, that's bad. But, I mean, can you think of another company that makes games like Bethesda with that scale?
But, yeah,
I mean, it's unbelievable.
That doesn't matter because they can obviously get all that stuff to work for the 360 and the PC. We're talking... Their beef isn't the size of their game. Their beef is they can't make their games to work properly on the PS3.
That's what I'm saying, though, is that like even if you have some problems with a Bethesda game, like you even said that they weren't game-breaking problems, then like everything you get out of playing through a Bethesda game, like all the stuff that I got out of playing through Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. There were errors. I mean, on the Xbox 360, I played Fallout New Vegas on the 360, and there were all types of bugs and errors. But I thought at the end of the day, they had so much content that they delivered that I could forgive them for that. Now, if I was only limited to having a PS3, I could see the beef. But from my perspective,
the thing on the PS3 is that some of their things, maybe not game-breaking permanently, but they were game-breaking for a time. When your saves don't work properly, that's a huge issue.
Yeah, that's a game breaker, especially for a game like that where you might put in 8 hours into like one session, and then if that save does not work, you're going to be pretty angry. So
yeah, I mean, like they've had issues with like that for a couple of their games. But let's move on to I think the biggest topic of the agenda. This is the coolest thing that came out in the last few weeks since we've been gone. Is Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, Hideo Kojima's prologue, I guess, to Metal Gear 5. So he's showing off the new Fox engine. Rain and Mud has never looked so good.
Dirty boy.
It was really just them showing off more of what the Fox engine could do than really about Ground Zeroes. But this game. They're talking about it having a big open world. In a legitimate way, not just being able to choose one or two different tunnels, but an actual open world environment to play around in, day-night cycles. Snake can hijack APCs and helicopters. He uses a helicopter to fly between missions in different countries. You can even change the music in your helicopter as you're flying around. It really is one of the best. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 4 is one of the best looking games on PS3, and that game came out a few years ago. And the one thing to say about the footage that they showed for Ground Zeroes was the video was taken, was in-engine gameplay, but it was running off of PC hardware. But they said that the PC hardware was similarly equipped to a PS3 and that the final results should look pretty comparable to what they showed using the PC running the engine. But, Metal Gear is hugely popular. I mean, Metal Gear is one of the best-selling games on the PlayStation for a long time. And, man, I gotta say, it does look really kind of badass. And the option of really being able to play with all the Metal Gear toys in a much more open-world environment sounds pretty freaking awesome. And there's going to be like 10 hours of cinematics that'll be really well done, too.
Oh, Saint Mantooth just got a huge boner, even if he's not listening. He senses whenever people are saying good things about Metal Gear Solid, and he just would for days. Dicks on dicks
That's
on
gotta
dicks.
be uncomfortable.
Wow. Kaz is still in charge of Sony, right?
Oh man, actually, I want to say that he switched positions not that long ago. Again.
Switch positions. Now we're on the same page.
I can't remember. I know he had moved up into his new position, but I think that he may have actually just recently left. I think we might have mentioned it on a previous show, but I can't remember.
It's hard to. They keep mixing it up over there. Whoever's in charge of the PlayStation franchise right now needs to go to Hideo Kojima and needs to say, this needs to be the first title in the PS4. They don't need it on the PS3. This needs to be launch title, like even if it's not day one, within the first 2 weeks of the PS4. That's what this game needs to be, because that was what the big problem the PS3 was when it came out, is there was just a severe lack of like high quality games, and a Hideo Kojima game at launch is a system seller.
Yeah, but I mean, the rumor is, and I can't confirm it because I'm playing in a couple alphas right now, but I know for a fact that there's two big, huge games where their showstopper release version is going to be on the next console, but they're also releasing it on current gen consoles. And some games are even getting a beta for both systems. So there's a closed beta for the few people who are going to get access to the new systems, and there'll be a beta to get everything running on these systems. So there's a real chance that Ground Zeroes could be PS3 and PS4, as could a number of games, or any combination in between. But you're right. I mean, having a Metal Gear Solid for launch would be sick. Just like there's a possibility that a few of the games that we saw at E3 are also going to be more than likely going to end up being PlayStation 4 and not PlayStation 3 games. But Metal Gear Solid is going to sell no matter where it goes.
I'm just saying it would be a great missed opportunity to sell PS4s.
Have any of you guys not played through Metal Gear Solid 5 or 4?
I love Metal Gear Solid 4. I'm just saying, like, if that would have been a launch title, dude, people would have probably dropped, the mega millions that you had to drop to get a PS3 at that time.
$5.99.
Yeah. I'm curious. Darkwonders, were you ever a big Metal Gear Solid fan or not?
Oh yeah, I played. I have the HD collection for the Vita. I've been meaning to get Metal Gear Solid 2. That's the only one I haven't played yet. So I'm definitely looking forward to Zeroes, because Big Boss is an epic snake, and I can't wait to see like what happens, where they go after Metal Gear Solid 3 for him.
Yeah. I mean, those games offer so much just time and value for your dollar. It's kind of hard not to love them. Anyway, we're past the 15-minute mark, so we got to get to our shout-outs. I'd like to give a shout-out to JW Mouse. Hit up his blog at musingsofjwmouse.blogspot.com. And shout-out to the fake hipster. Shout-out to Huda19. And shout-out to Seth in Your Mouth. Some of those guys, we had some great Twitter conversations this week, debating hip-hop and Yoshifett's taste in poetry and a number of other things that were completely off topic, and I have no idea how they all happened on the same day. Dave, you got some shout-outs?
No, I'm good. Thanks for having me here on the show.
Thank you for editing our show and dealing with our for 5 years and counting. Okay, Dark Wonders, you got any shout-outs? You got not only that, Dark Wonders, we didn't get to hear as much from you for this show as I wanted. Is there anything you wanted to let the world know?
Sorry, we don't have time for that. We ain't got that kind of time.
No, apparently I'm not important enough. Pinball for the Vita, definitely get that. You don't need any other game. Also, my shout-outs, I think I'll shout out Surfiro from the Twitters and the BRB community. He will never, if you say you like something, he will never let up in getting you to try other things that are similar. Yoshifett can attest to that.
He's tenacious. I
he
love
will
him, but
never,
he's tenacious.
ever let up. Oh yeah, he'll always find something for you that you might enjoy, which is awesome. But then he'll also pest you, asking you if you watched that, played that, or listened to that yet. And I always tell him I will, but I always put the stuff on the back burner of my pile of shame of gaming and anime to watch. So I love that he tries, but I always have too much stuff to play. And also thanks for him for getting me into Guild Wars 2. He kept pestering me until I actually picked up the game, and now that's my main game that's not PS3 stuff.
I know he's been an advocate trying to get everyone to watch the movie The Raid, which is an amazing movie. If you want to watch an action film, The Raid is probably one of the greatest action films of the last 10 years. It's really good, and he's all about championing that movie. So Yoshifett, you got any shout-outs?
Just a few quickly. I'll just say Dean Bildler, who I've shouted out before. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. It might be Bidler. That's what it looks like. Ginger Boy 507, Slumdog Epiphany, and then of course you for having me on, and Rothbart and Fralls for not being on. I'm going to go ahead and shout them out for giving me the opportunity to be here.
I have a shout out.
Oh, Dave.
I'd like to shout out the Green Bay Packers defense for sacking Jay Cutler 4 times and intercepting him 4 times. Or they sacked him 7 times. They intercepted him 4 times. It was amazing.
Fantastic.
Not his
I'm
day.
glad I didn't start Jay Cutler on my fantasy team.
Yeah, I think his leg's starting to hurt again.
And we don't have any Gamer Night news for this week, just because if I talk about times, by the time the show comes out, may or may not be in time to get it out. So there's no Gamer Night details for this coming weekend, but big deal. Extra Life 2012 is not very far away. It's October 20th, 2012. So it's a little over a month away, and we're gonna go big just like we do every year. Everyone at BRB who was around in the old days on the old site, we've all been part of Extra Life since the very beginning. The BRB Blu show, myself, and I'm probably going to recruit 2 other drivers. We're going to be going up against Jedi Junkie and his crew, the guys from PlayStation Nation, and we're going to be playing Gran Turismo 5 for, I think it's going to be a 3-hour marathon race to raise money for Extra Life on top of our other endeavors to raise money. It all goes to the Children's Miracle Network. It's a really good cause. Play video games for 24 hours. You can raise money, donate money to other people. If you sign up and you do a minimum pledge, which I think is $20 or something, or I think if you sign up for a VIP pledge page and you raise over $200, you get a free T-shirt. But it's a really good cause. It's also a really good day of gaming. I'll bounce from PC to PS3 to 360 if I want to play Forza or something. It's going to be a really, really good time. So October 20th, 2012, go start up your donation page, donate to people, get people to donate to you for a good cause. And we have a pretty damn good bonus topic this week because I made it and I want to say so myself. But that's it for episode 26.
Sizzle.
We shall catch you all on the flip side.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcast, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.